Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this online lecture series, Physics with Partha. Myself, Partha Pratim Goswami. I am a PhD student in the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Hyderabad. So, in today's lecture, we are going to talk about heat and temperature. This is chapter number 23 in our textbook Concept of Physics by Professor H.C. Verma, which we are going to follow throughout this lecture series as our main reference book to facilitate your preparation for any kind of board examinations as well as different competitive examination like JEE Mains, Advanced, and as well as NEET or other examination of same nature. We are going to follow different books whenever needed, like Resnick Halliday of Physics, Concept of Physics as our main book, Simplified Physics, Pradeep's lecture series, and other book also. But for your reference, you can follow H.C. Verma as your main book. Okay. So in the top left corner, you can see a picture which shows you a hot sunny day. So whenever we talk about heat, the first thing that comes to our mind is a notion of hotness and coldness, and the way to measure it is given by temperature. So in the right side you can see another picture which shows you food is being cooked in an open fire. There you can see that due to the application of heat, something is being happening in our day to day life. So whenever we are going to talk to a new concept, if we can relate it to our day to day activity, then we can learn it better. So we will try to do that for you. Now in this lecture, we are going to cover these topics: notion of heat, zeroth law of thermodynamics, concept of temperature, scales of temperature, conversion among the scales, triple point of water, flow of heat, thermal expansion, anomalous expansion of water. Okay. Let us move to our first topic, that is notion of heat. Here we can see a pretty good image of a refrigerator which is used to store the food items. Okay. And then in my own handwriting, this picture shows notion of heat. So in this lecture series, I am going to write down the notes like I did. So I hope the picture is clear to you. So that I am going to read out for you. Heat is a transfer of energy. It is the conversion of mechanical, electrical or other form of energy to internal energy of the system. So all we need to know that heat is a form of energy, and the internal energy whenever is in transport, then only we can term it as heat. So the phrases like heat content of a body, heat energy of a body is meaningless, but what is meaningful is the heat flow in a system. So in a system within the bodies there will be heat flow whenever internal energy difference exists and they are connected. Okay. So heat is a transfer of energy from one body to the other without doing any mechanical work. So whenever there is external force that is doing some displacement of a body, that is locomotion of a body, then the dot product of force into displacement gives you the work done in the system, but heat is not work done. it is the transfer of internal energy without doing any mechanical work. Okay. In this slide, we are going to talk about zeroth law of thermodynamics, which is also a very important concept. As it shows, body in the top left corner we can see a diagram like Venn kind of diagram, Venn diagram kind of diagram. It shows three bodies A, B and C marked by green arrows. It is written that they are in thermal equilibrium. That means no internal energy is being transported among these bodies. If there is no internal energy in transport, then we can tell that there is no heat transfer. There is no heat transfer among these bodies, and it is written that they are in thermal equilibrium. That means whenever there is no temperature difference between the bodies and they are in thermal equilibrium, that is termed as thermal equilibrium, then body A is in equilibrium with body B, body A is in equilibrium with body C, then body B and body C are also is in thermal equilibrium. That is shown by figure number 1 part B. We see that body B and body C are separately in thermal equilibrium. In the next section, that is figure C, here it is written that the bodies are not in thermal equilibrium. That is why heat flow is written. Heat can flow from body A to body B if the temperature of body A is more than that of B, and it can flow from body B to body A. There is this possibility is also there if the temperature of body A is less than body B. So, this depends upon the temperature difference between these two bodies, and in that condition we cannot tell that they are in thermal equilibrium. So, zeroth law of thermodynamics basically tells us that whenever body A and B are in thermal equilibrium, body A and C are in thermal equilibrium, then body B and C must also be in thermal equilibrium. Okay. I hope at this point of time the notion of heat is clear to you. So, now let us talk about the concept of temperature. It is written that temperature is a concept that is used to measure the hotness or coldness of a body. That is, it is an indication of stored internal energy in the bodies. So, where does this hotness or coldness come from? It comes from the stored internal energy of the bodies. So, to measure that stored internal energy in a convenient manner, we have introduced the term temperature. So, as you can see in your screen, the right side picture which we introduced earlier also. So, here we see a column of mercury and a scale written -30, -40, -20, -10 like that, and here 40, 20 you can see the marks. So, these are just some indication of temperature. So, to measure temperature, we relate the change in internal energy of a body to some measurable property. This can be the thermal expansion of the body, this can be the resistance of a wear, this can be the expansion of an ideal gas. Based upon those measurable properties, different scales have been constructed, different arrangement have been constructed to measure the temperature. So, temperature is just an indication of internal energy of the body. Define the scale of temperature, scales of temperature. To define the scale of temperature, we can tell that to give some numerical value to the temperature, we choose a substance and look for some measurable properties which varies as a function of temperature. So, for a particular substance, if some property is varying as a function of temperature, then that measurable property, if we can exactly measure that property, then that can be an indication of temperature of the body. So then we assign the temperature of the body measuring that function. So this function may be the thermal expansion of the body, the resistance of a metal wire, or the thermal expansion of gases, ideal gas. So based upon those principles, different measurement methods have been employed and different scales have been constructed. So we can have Celsius or centigrade scale, Fahrenheit scale, Kelvin scale, or random, any scale we can construct. Okay. There are some other scale also. So here 4 scales we have shown here, and the interconversion. What is important in the perspective of exam is the interconversion of this temperature within these scales. Okay. So to construct the scale, we must have some base temperature, and that base temperature is assigned to some particular property. So here, as we have written, ice point of water and steam point of water. So the ice point of water is the temperature when at which the ice melts into water, and the steam point of water, as we all know, is the temperature when water boils. So these temperatures are assigned as 0 degree and 100 degree respectively, and depending upon the change in between, the temperature is assigned. So in the left side we have seen a picture. Here it is written that in the leftmost column we can see absolute 0, freezing point of water, room temperature, human body temperature, and boiling water. So these are all the physical phenomena, and which we can relate to very easily. So those happenings, these events or these phenomena are happening at a particular temperature, and in comparison to these particular temperature, what is the temperature present at present situation, we can relate using the following relation, which we are going to talk in our next slide. Okay. So let us see the conversion among the scales of temperature. Here we have shown 4 scales. Basically in figure 2, from left to right we can see 4 scales. The leftmost scale is Celsius scale, next Fahrenheit scale, next Kelvin scale, and then random scale we have assigned. So here we can see the upper limit and lower limit. The upper limit and lower limit is defined as the freezing point of water and the boiling point of water, that is 0 degree centigrade and 100 degree centigrade. So in between we can see that T degree centigrade, T Fahrenheit, TF degree Fahrenheit, TK Kelvin. So in Kelvin, I would like to tell you that in Kelvin we don't use degree symbol is removed. Previously it was used. So by now the international community has removed that symbol. Now we can tell only Kelvin, there is no degree Kelvin kind of thing. So in the random we have written as T random also. So that TK, TF, TC or T random, we want to express this temperature as one scale. To convert this temperature, we want to convert this temperature from one scale to the other. So this technique will be very useful for you in terms of your exams. When you are going to write exams, this will be very helpful for you, because the interconversion is very important. So it is already written that we want to measure this temperature in the leftmost centigrade scale column. You can, if you see, so there I have written that we want to measure this temperature. Now figure shows the upper and lower limits of various scales of temperature. Then their interconversion can be done using this formula, Tc minus 0, that is Tc is the temperature which we want to convert, minus 0 divided by upper limit minus lower limit. This is followed along the way. Tf minus 32 divided by 212 minus 32, that is in Fahrenheit scale. In Kelvin scale, Tk minus 273.16, 373.16 minus 273.16, T random minus y divided by x minus y. So in the next row, we can see that Tc divided by 100 equal to Tf minus 32 by 180, Tk minus 273.16 divided by 100, and next is T random minus y divided by x minus y. That is meant to say that the centigrade scale in between the upper limit and lower limit, it is divided into 100 equal parts. The Fahrenheit scale, it is divided in between 180 equal parts. For Kelvin scale, it is 100 equal parts, and for random, it is x minus y. So using this relation, that is equation number 1 in this lecture, we can convert one temperature to the other, which will be very helpful for you. Okay. So let us discuss about a very interesting physical phenomena, that is the triple point. So here specifically we are going to talk about the triple point of water. So triple point of any substance is that particular temperature and pressure, where all three states of matter coexist in equilibrium. That is, all three states means solid state, liquid state and vapor state, solid, liquid and gas. All three coexist in equilibrium at this particular pressure and temperature, that is called triple point. So triple point, as I have written, is a state or point in temperature and pressure in which the ice, water and water vapor, all these states of water can stay together in equilibrium. So at that triple point, the pressure is called P triple point, temperature is T triple point, that is 273.16 Kelvin in absolute scale of temperature. Then the temperature of a gas, when if the temperature of a gas is T, at that temperature if the pressure is P, then we can relate that particular pressure and temperature using this equation number 2, which will be again very helpful for you, and in our next lectures in kinetic theory of gases, which we are going to cover in our next lecture. So T is given as pressure divided by pressure at triple point into 273.16 Kelvin. So actually for any gas, temperature can be expressed as limit pressure at triple point of that gas tends to 0, P divided by P triple point into 273.16 Kelvin. This is given now equation number 3. Now let us talk about the ideal gas equation, which is given as PV equal to nRT, where P, as we all know, pressure, V denotes volume, N denotes number of moles. Capital R is the universal gas constant. There are different units to be expressed. Universal gas constant, we can express it in different units, that is 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. There are other units available. So we need to know the interconversion between the units also. So that we are going to cover in detail in kinetic theory of gases. So here as of now we don't need that. Next picture show you the physical picture of the triple point. So here we can see the marble like structures are the water, then ice, there are some marble, ice is the solid form of water, liquid state we can see, and this is a glass container. This picture has been taken from a YouTube experiment. So picture courtesy I have already given. So there you can go through the link and visit that experiment, that will explain you a simple experiment to visualize the triple point state, triple point of water. Okay. So let us talk about flow of heat. There are basically three mechanisms exist: conduction, convection and radiation. So but this is beyond the scope of this lecture. We will cover it in our next chapters. Okay. To know about this flow of heat, first we need to know the different wall separating the compartments. That is, heat flow can happen between the two bodies in a system, within a system, the system and the environment, or vice versa. So the walls separating compartments, we can tell that there it is written that adiabatic and diathermic wall. The adiabatic wall is a wall that resists the flow of heat through it such that the bodies can be kept separated at different temperature. As we have seen in the picture, that is written as A and B. There are two bodies separated by an adiabatic wall. If they are separated by an adiabatic wall, then different temperature exist like T1 and T2. This T1 and T2 can be different. That is, adiabatic wall is not allowing heat to flow. That is why they are able to maintain different temperatures themselves. Then diathermic wall is a wall that allows flow of heat through it very rapidly, and that is called a diathermic wall. So as we can see that in the next picture, A and body A and body B is written separated by a diathermic wall. So here the temperature of the bodies is same, that is T. So a common example we can see the thermoflux. In thermoflux, they use adiabatic wall that is used to maintain the temperature of the liquid inside the flux. So here glass walls with silvered surfaces is shown. This glass wall are a poor conductor of heat. That is why the temperature within inside whatever we pour inside, that temperature is maintained. Okay. Now let us discuss about the thermal expansion. So thermal expansion can be linear, superficial, or volumetric. So as we have seen that there are three pictures to give you an idea what is linear, what is superficial, and what is volumetric. The linear basically tells us about one dimensional. That is a thread we are showing here. That is, thread is one dimensional. The linear expansion means we are allowing the substance to expand only in one dimension. That is like a thread. In 2D we can see a slate. All of you must have used this slate in your childhood. So here we can see that this is a two-dimensional object. A slate is a two-dimensional object if we ignore the thickness of the slate. So here x and y dimension is there, the z dimension is not there. Next picture shows you a cube, that is all three dimensions are present, which we can visualize, that is a cube. Now that is related to volumetric expansion, means if thermal expansion is happening in the cube, we are allowing it to expand in all three dimensions. So the next slides will discuss this linear, superficial, and volumetric expansion separately, along with some numerical expression which will be very helpful for you to solve some of the problems in competitive examinations. Okay. So let us discuss about linear expansion. Say we have a metal wire or one dimensional object with length L at temperature capital T. Now we have restricted the expansion in other dimensions, like we are allowing it to expand only in one dimension. So at temperature T plus delta T, the elongated length is L plus delta L, as we can see in the picture, which is already written there. Then the coefficient of linear expansion is defined as alpha bar, that is average coefficient of linear expansion, as 1 by capital L, where L is the original length, into delta L by delta T. So this is written equation number 4. So taking limit, the coefficient of linear expansion is alpha equal to limit delta T tends to 0, 1 by delta L by delta T, which is 1 by L. This converts to dl by dt, 1 by L dl by dt. Now we can relate the length of any substance which is subjected under thermal expansion using this coefficient of linear expansion alpha. Say the length of a rod is L naught at temperature 0 degree centigrade and L theta at temperature theta degree centigrade. Then, assuming the coefficient of linear expansion alpha is small and constant, over the given range of temperature, then we can write that alpha equal to L theta minus L0 divided by L0 into theta minus 0, which relates the length of the substance at temperature theta, the length of the rod at temperature theta, L theta, equal to L0 1 plus alpha into theta. In place of theta, we can write delta theta. That is, if temperature is changing from one particular T1 temperature to another particular temperature T2, then we can write delta theta equal to T2 minus T1, like that. This is given in equation number 6. Okay. Here we are going to talk about superficial expansion. Superficial expansion is the aerial expansion. That is, if we have a sheet like a plan sheet, instead of a rod, or instead of a wire kind of thing, instead of a thread kind of thing, then we have superficial expansion. That is, we are allowing it to expand in both x and y direction, as we can see in the picture. So let us assume that initial area is capital S, final area is S plus delta S, that is S dash. At temperature T plus delta T, initially it was at temperature capital T. Then the coefficient of superficial expansion beta is defined as beta equal to 1 by S delta S by delta T, or in limit form beta equal to 1 by S ds by dt. Then the final surface area can be related to the initial area using that equation number 7. S dash equal to S into 1 plus beta delta T, which is nothing but same as we have seen previously. Okay. Let us talk about volumetric expansion. The volumetric expansion, as we have seen here, we are allowing it to expand in both x, y and z direction, in all the direction. Then we can see that initial volume at temperature T was capital V, and final volume at temperature T plus delta T is V plus delta V. Then the coefficient of volumetric expansion gamma can be written as gamma equal to 1 by V dV over dt, or delta V over delta T, 1 by V delta V over delta T. Now, at temperature theta, the volume V theta is related to volume V naught as V theta equal to V naught 1 plus gamma into theta, using the relation 8. Next, we can see the relationship between these coefficients of thermal expansion, that is alpha, beta and gamma. This is also very important for exam perspective. So you can be asked in some numerical questions to relate this coefficient with each other. So we also going to solve some examples later on. Okay, so let us check the interrelation. So alpha by 1 is given as beta by 2 equal to gamma by 3. So alpha is less than beta and beta is less than gamma, which we have written. Now beta can be expressed in terms of alpha as beta equal to twice alpha, gamma equal to thrice alpha. So equation 9 relates these coefficients with each other, which is very important to know to solve some of the problems. Okay. Here we are going to see another interesting physical phenomena, that is anomalous expansion of water. The anomalous expansion of water is given by this graph. We can see that this graph is shown the inverse of density. That is, density, as we all know, density equal to mass by volume. Inverse of density is 1 by rho, that is volume by mass. That means, if, as we can see in the x-axis we can see temperature, in the y-axis we can see 1 by rho. As we have seen, from 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, as temperature is increased, the inverse of density is becoming lesser and lesser. That is, as temperature increase, instead of increasing the volume gets decreased, and then after that it starts increasing again. Since it has shown some anomalous nature from 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, that is why it is called as anomalous expansion of water. So from this curve, the another information we can deduct is that at temperature 4 degrees centigrade, the density of water is the maximum, so which have some important application in aquatic life. In the right side, we have seen one picture. It shows the ice water ice and water in a frozen lake. In a lake, the upper part is ice, the lower part is water. That is because at the downside, water is at 4 degrees centigrade, 3 degrees centigrade, 2 degrees centigrade, etc. But ice, as we all know, it should be at 0 degrees centigrade. That is, at upper part, density is less. That is why it is floating. But water is more dense, and it facilitates the aquatic life to live underwater. Otherwise, if lakes start freezing from downside, it it would happen that the aquatic life all will be dead. Instead of freezing from downside, the freezing starts from upwards. Freezing will start from upwards the water. The upper surface will be frozen. The in the bottom side, water will be present there. Okay, so here the same thing is written. At 4 degrees centigrade, density is the maximum, and as we increase the temperature further from 4 degrees centigrade, the density again decreases, that is volume increases. That is called as anomalous expansion of water. This picture is taken from YouTube. We have given the picture courtesy. With this, I would like to close here today. So today we have covered these topics, that is notion of heat. I hope by now it is clear to you what is heat, what is temperature, some concept related to temperature. The construction of scales we have skipped, but we have shown you the relation of interconversion between the scales, then conversion among the scales, triple point of water, flow of heat a little bit, the detailed mechanism of conduction, convection and radiation we are going to cover in our next lecture, next few lecture, which will be coming soon. And then in kinetic theory of gases, we will cover those kinetic theory of gases. We will cover different laws like ideal gas equation. Here we have just introduced. We will cover in detail. Then anomalous expansion of water we have seen. With this, I would like to close here today. So thank you for watching. You can ping me at physicswithpartha@gmail.com. This is my unique email ID to run this course. Okay, so here I have a YouTube channel also, Physics with Partha. You can follow and subscribe the channel. We will be uploading the playlist there. Then if you have any query or doubt regarding whatever we have discussed today, or anything like related to this topic, you can ask. And then any kind of constructive suggestion are also welcome, very much welcome. I would be pleased to hear from you. Okay, thank you very much.